what did you wish you knew before you got married? Is it one thing? Is it two things? Is it three things? Looking back, what do you wish you knew before you got married?
Okay, so for me, I think two things. One, nobody completes you.
Nobody completes you.
Yeah. One, two, you cannot know a person by just dating them. Right, and so first of all, no one completes you. We're all believers here, so I guess you already know that if you're trying to find purpose or that complete feeling in another human being that is also looking for it, you will be dazed, and shocked, because he too knows that you, especially if you marry a believer, he knows that his completion is not in his wife. So, but in the Lord. So, the reason why we are living, especially as Christian, is, a pastor is summarize it this way: to know God and to make Him known. So that one is your completion. It's just, that's first one. Second one. Okay, so for Tyra and I, that husband word is still big. I don't really say it so much. But for my husband and I, we've known since we were teenagers, right? So you think that you really know the person. But one thing I found out inside, he waited, then give me, was he can be very dismissive sometimes. So I will now look at myself like me. Right? So we can be talking about something, say, I'm not interested. You will be interested. It's normal. So I don't think you can really know. They can give you hints, but when you start sleeping with them, you can't know everything. Yeah.
Okay, so next will be Chidi. What do you wish you knew before you got married? Is it one thing? Is it two things? Is it 10 things? Looking back, you've been married for how long?
6 years this year.
6 years this year. Okay, you've been married for
5 years.
Just a few. It will be 7 months.
7 months. This month, yes. Okay, so what do you wish you knew before you got married?
What I would say is, what I wish I knew was actually what God meant by saying that when you get married, you are partners. You know, partners is not just you're married, you have children. You know, you're partners in everything. Recently, I started working closely with my wife, and I felt this completion, like I'm more relaxed. You know, before I got married, I felt okay. You get married, you do your own stuff. Your wife will do her own stuff, and you know you're still partners though. But everybody do their own stuff. But I wish I knew that earlier. I would have made this decision earlier. I would have started working closely earlier, because it gives you that comfort and it gives you that fulfillment that we are both facing the same thing. You know, we are working towards the same goal, common purpose, and it's really powerful.
Just like, where's my phone?
Okay, so next will be you, Renike. What do you wish you knew before you got married?
Praise God.
Yes.
Okay, yes. Yeah, praise God, right? Because sometimes I speak in different places, so sometimes I'm very comfortable to say praise God, praise the Lord, because my church people. Okay, so for me, I would say there's so many things. Well, not so many, right? But I would just pick 3 things.
Okay.
The first one, right? I did not know that sex was such a big deal for men. I did not know. Like when I was introduced, especially it's because my husband, as per pastor, you understand? Holy brother, you're not supposed to be thinking about this thing. You're not supposed to, as in, we're just supposed to commune, you know, praise and worship, you know, and just exactly serve the Lord, you know, read and pray, and just, you know, oh brother, how are you? So when we entered it, like I think we had like what TV show? It was just like Unleash the Dragon, basically, like he said, right? So as he tasted it like this, it was like no going back, right? So that took me by, I was shook, right? I was very, because on the day I was crying, I was like, Jesus Christ, what kind of trouble have I entered like this? Do you get? But
so I got married very early, right? So I got married at 22, and me and my mom are very close, but she did not. For some reason, I think she forgot to mention that part. And so I was able to find out, and and then we had to talk about it. It wasn't something that was really comfortable, but we talked about it, and then he began to. So it didn't take a while, right? And then we were able to then understand each other. That's one. Then two, I did not know that marriage was a lot of work. When I mean work, like you have to actually work at it, be intentional about it. So I got married 22, oh lovey-dovey, everything, my friend. And year one, year two, we would hardly even quarrel. So my husband is the kind of person that he cannot sleep if we are quarreling. Maybe I can sleep. Right? God forgive me, but I'm better now. So he can't sleep. But the thing is that he too now sometimes we're quarreling one night, he has not even, I'm like, you're turning to a bad person. So so we just got married. Year one, year two, everything. So I realized that at year 5, right? So by August we'll be married for 8 years, and so I don't understand. So at year 5, I realized that we started fighting a lot. When I mean fighting, like having lots of disagreements, and in my mind I'm like, you used to take this from me before, so maybe I'll just come back home and it's like, oh, what's for dinner? I'm like, okay, can you just make something? Or because usually I would cook, but maybe that day I'm actually even really tired. And before, I'm just giving this as an example that just pop in my head. And before normally be like, oh, okay, no problem, I'll make us dinner, right? And then now he's like, what do you mean by that? I'm the head of this family. I'm like, wait a minute, I don't understand, where is all this coming from? So we started having clashes, little things were beginning to, upset him. And I'm like, hey, what's happening? Hey, the devil has come to my marriage, he wants to attack my marriage, different things like that. So one day, after, we noticed the series, because we are very close. In as much as we dated for less than a year, we are very extreme. Yeah, so I met my husband in February and he proposed to me like in March. So I told him to hold on, that he has to be proposed again after he thinks that he has known me, right? Even though I knew that, we're meant for each other. So I think we noticed that for like maybe 9 months, and then one day we just sat down and said, you know what, we have to do a reintroduction. Let me know you know me. Let me know what you cannot take, what I can take. See, it seems like I've taken you for granted, and I'm sorry, because again, so that's what I mean by not being intentional about it. Just saying I'm my husband. So the way she said, it took a while to. It's taking a while to just call her husband. So I'm not saying that she disagrees or anything, but you know how you guys are friends. And in my mind, I'm like, hey, don't bring that I'm your husband, macho man on my head. I don't get. So yeah, so we had to talk about it. I was like, oh hi, my name is Molenyi. I am this, I am that. This is what I do for a living. I'm married to Yomi Molenyi. And and this is what this is why I'm upset. This is what I don't like. I don't like that you did the same thing. And then we're like, okay, so we're going to erase the past. So we're like starting afresh, and so yeah. That works, right? So yes, and then after that day, I began to be very, very intentional about the marriage. And so you'd find out that most of the time, we are getting certifications for our businesses, for our career lives. We are at it. We want to do MSc, BSc, MSc, PhD, CMM, different MMM, different things. But at with our marriages, right, we don't put so much effort. So it's like they usually say, it's also like a school, just that they give you a certificate before you start, all of that. So in as much, so if I'm going to give any advice, you'll be, don't relax, like just be intentional about the other person. And the third one will be, so my parents are my mentors, and his parents are his mentors as well. But I wish we had like a couple mentor before we got married. So thankfully, right, it's not like we are doing bad, right? But I just feel like we'd have known some things ahead of time, they would have spoken to us. So my parents, they've been giving us advices, but you know how you would take like a structured mentor program kind of. So it was just towards the end of no, middle of last year, the Amazon and I sat down and said, oh, you know what, we need to actually get a couple mentor, so people that have gone ahead of us. Yes, we didn't do it the previous years, right? But now, we will visit them monthly, we let them know. No, so it's not like you're going to share your problems with them, but just chatting, right? And there's some things that you pick up from there, because you're not an island. I feel like your marriage is fantastic, or or you're the only one even in this situation. Meanwhile, maybe what you're going through now, they've gone through it like 10 years ago, and it's something instead of going through that season for like 2 years. It's just one advice that will just make you come out of and different things aside from your relationship, finances, investment, parenting, so diverse things, right? So I think I should stop here. Yeah.
Okay, so
So we've been friends for like 12 years, and but married for like a year and maybe 430 days now. Maybe, yeah. Okay, what I wish, or what we wish. Like I said, we're friends before getting married. And I'd known that my wife, is very expressive. But when I got married, I thought the PDA was going to like stop. You know what PDA is? Public display of affection. I thought it was going to like stop. But increased. Let me give you one example. There was a time we went to church, and then people had not yet come, and my wife was like touching my head, and I'm like people are going to come, like what would they say? People were coming, and she's like, no, come and hug me, come and hug me. And really, women are different. Another lady would not do that, but I had to understand her, that that's her person. It's not like, no, she's not a flirt, but that's what makes her, feel loved or accepted. So right now I'm bending. Like for example, if he was at our place yesterday, she had drank, we were talking this, that, and then there was a time when there's a cushion like this in the house, and there was a time I just slouched back, and my wife was carrying our baby at my back. And then somehow she was playing with the baby, and then her right hand started to touch my head. And then I like instantly I was just like, okay, somebody's here. I just had to do it stylishly, but that's her person, and in a way, well, not every guy be like that. But she's my friend, so I'm able to bend the rules. I'm able to make that adjustment for her, and really, it's working well for me. Okay, secondly, we had baby. We had the baby on January, so maybe the next month after the first month we got married, that's when my wife took in. And well, before that happened, we were having sex maybe 4 to 5 times a week. We're just nearly married now. What's this restriction? There's no more restriction, blah, 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 blah. So, when she became pregnant, probably reduced once a week. And then there were health issues coming up. And so we just had to totally reduce it. So for a long time, not long time years, but long time months, maybe 5 months. Okay, so there was nothing active. Obviously, she's PDA active, so there should be some cuddling and all that. But when am I speaking our mind? Okay, so when the baby was born, and we're still trying to get that fire back. It wasn't really coming back like that, and nobody really talked to us okay, you know what? Well, there was something that mom was saying, you know what? You guys just take it now again, just do it again. But it wasn't really easy like that, psychologically. So recently we did something. Okay, I think, let me say this. Some of us should know Dr. David Youngicho, right? Yeah. His itinerary is, she's always busy, blah, blah, blah. So there was a time in his marriage that, things were very bad. And then one of the things that he did was, Monday was just for his wife and family. He could travel, do every other thing, but Monday is going to be with his wife. So somehow, Something happened one very lovely Thursday. It was like a comeback. It was amazing. Like, and then the next day we couldn't just. Well, like, what happened? Why was the atmosphere in the house? Call it atmosphere. You don't think about what you're thinking about. The atmosphere in the house was boom, and that's how I just said, you know what? It's very possible that there are couples that actually will be together, and for 3 years or years, they are not like performing in the other room. Do you understand? And that, you know what? Let's have Thursday as the day. We're looking at. It can happen every other day, but Thursday as the day. So it was like a timetable. Now we could do this because we're friends. See, because you can just enter your marriage and say, "Guy, let's do timetable." That's already, you're like already robots. But because we're friends and we there's already that companionship, there's already that communication already being built. You know, so that could come up. So we are not like robots now. So it could happen every other day, but Thursday for no, sorry, clean your mind. Maybe when the Thursday comes, you may be thinking of one guy somewhere. Okay, well, this particular day really looks like the fire day. It could happen every other day, and it's helping us. Now we now have every other day that we do every other thing. Like for example, we went for a video, and then I was like, you know what, I don't want to drive. Let me just quickly go, come back. She's like, no, and then somehow unconsciously the timetable for Saturday just kept coming up. And one of the things we do on Saturday is, if we don't go out, you do laundry. Then Saturday could be for events, like we come out like this. And I'm like, yeah, like let's fulfill that. As in, let that also be part of like. So it was very easy for me to make the decision, like, okay, you know what, let me drive, so that you can also be part of, you know, this. Hello. So you can also be part of this. So all of all these things, we had to like discover it on the road. You know, like I was telling her yesterday, you can watch a YouTube video of how to drive, but until you start to drive, that's when you will know that yes, I can actually drive. You know, so some of my then when I used to be single, I'll tell a married person, you know, do this, do that. But then I missed out a lot of things. So they were those guys married actually have the real action, and really, it's when you actually get into it that, you know, you just have to have that teachable spirit to make adjustments, discover things, and, you know, find what works for you, basically.
Okay. There's one thing that you mentioned yesterday, the money. Nobody told you. Wish somebody had
Oh
said.
yeah, okay. So
money
let me
that-
bring that up. Okay, so the wedding day was so cool. Like there was money. Like we got money. Like okay, but wait. Let me tell you what happened. A friend of ours told us that no, that she called me and she said, Wale, I danced though, and they just gave me like 200k or 150, something like that. I was like, God, let my portion be larger. I don't want 150k. I want okay. So me and my wife, we didn't really have like in our minds like, no, we want money. We just know, okay, God, you know, let's have a good start, bless us, that kind of thing. And yeah, something very good really came up. Like it was very cool, but nobody taught us that when you close and open your eyes, no matter how big that money is, if you don't make the right decision concerning it, it will just fly like that. And so for like maybe the first 2 months, where, you know, taking it out, I wish the bulk of that money we got, we probably invested it in something. There was a night where the generator was bad. The generator was bad. We're still in that fire mode, right? And then she was like, see, this is lemon. Why this place is so hot? Let's drive out. Let's go to a hotel. And I was like, yeah. How much do we have? Let's go to a hotel. But now, we won't probably think like that. We've burnt our fingers, you know, many times. But somehow, I think it's important that when that time comes for you, and maybe bulk money comes or whatever it is, make a decision to invest that stuff, because in the next few months or years you actually see something coming out of even that one day stuff you get.
Okay, so thank you so much for that. My next question would be, you know, the Bible says, can two walk together except they be agreed? You know, and so in marriage, in the kingdom, we're working as a team to fulfill God's purpose for us. That's what I believe. So my next question will be, what 5 areas will you say that people that are courting need to be in agreement in with the other person for them to enjoy their marriage? Because I'm going to be 30 in September, so I have friends, that have been married for years. And one thing I see for the people that struggle is there's no agreement in important areas. Like is in the moment they start saying certain things, I may not be able to tell them, but I can already see that's the problem. There is no agreement, and they may be complaining about things that I know other friends that is not a problem for them because the husband and wife are in agreement. So he thinks like they value this, they have the same values, and it's cool. But this other person is having a problem because the woman or the man values this, and then the spouse doesn't. So, what 5 areas or 3 areas will you say that for those of us that are single, that you and this other person that you're considering need to be in agreement in if you want to enjoy your marriage? Abike is looking at me like she wants to go first. So okay, no. Okay, but go first.
Okay, I'll just say 2. Please, so that I will not forget and you remind me, money and what I'm saying now. So the second one you remind me. Okay, so the first one is your faith. We can all be Christians. It's great. Like we all serve this Jesus guy, our G. But they used to say there are some vital things and then there are some non-vital things. And I don't agree because I feel what is vital is relative. So if you go to, for example, I believe you should be in the same church first. Why? So that you believe the same things. I've seen people that fight over seed sowing. I've seen people that, for example, some people believe that, once the child is ill, just sow one mighty seed, the child will be fine. But then the 2 people don't believe it, and then the child dies, one is blaming the other. So, wearing of earring, as tiny as it is, if the 2 of you don't believe it, as in, you can't marry somebody, don't just go and pull one deeper lifer and try and change her. You will fight. It will be like, she'll feel like you're sending her to hell because you want her to be fine for you. So she can't put it in her mind. In like her outward appearance is for her God. But then her husband, that is also a man, that is either going to hell or heaven, like her, wants her to be, to disobey. So those very tiny things, make sure your values are the same. If you people believe in waking up in the morning to pray, don't marry someone that just believes you can pray anyhow. Because if it's you, that 5 o'clock, God is meeting me there. If you are the kind of person that believes that 5:05, if you are not there, the angel has gone. If you believe that, find the person that 5 o'clock too, so that 2 of you, the fire will burn. But if you, especially you now marry a man that is just sleeping, and you are the woman, you are waking up by 5, you are praying, then you tap him, you now turn again. You will fight because at the end of the day, you will say, in quotes, that he's not leading the family spiritually because the guy is sleeping, he's just sleeping, right? So I think so many, very values, now my father is calling me are you pregnant, right? But they didn't even really say anything like, oh, come on, marry now. Yeah, because I got married 20, I was 27-ish. So, but one thing I know that they taught us was money, especially my dad. So, and I learned not to do what he did, basically. And also my mom, when she was really young, she was like this Lagos big girl and everything, she had her money and stuff. So I also learned from her that as a woman, you don't have money. Why are you marrying? What exactly is your point of marrying? You get so I felt financially responsible. I still feel so, and I feel every woman should, right? So someone that you guys have same thought about money. Some men, they believe in YOLO. You only live once. Once the money comes, blow it. Me, I'm thinking of my children, the school they are going to go. If they're not going to Covenant, they are going abroad. All of those things. So from now, any tiny money I see is shared, is split. So so we've been married 7 months now. Every month we're broke after every month. Not because we don't have money, because it has been shared. So there's only spending money to buy Coke and buy all of those this thing. There's no surprise. There's no more surprise like, oh, surprise gift. No need. We love each other. Don't surprise me. Because I know if you surprise me, there's one money. Where is that money? It's supposed to go to. So because of how I work somewhere, and so because it's also financially thingy. So we have like target savings for the children is already there. It has been going 7 months. I don't want to get to October when we need to pay house rent, when I start running up and down every month. If that 75k is not there, where is it? So like, why is he not there? So if he's now the kind of person that believes as a man he needs to do everything, sorry, I can't marry him because I will not feel responsible. He's not. And if he's the kind of person that believes that as a woman, just sit down, like, don't be doing anything. Or as a woman, you're like that. But then your husband is saying, no, I don't want you to work. Just sit down and be taking care of the children. You fight. So I believe those two things when I come.
Okay, let me go with Monica. Yeah. So what areas do you believe that those of us that are not married, when you're courting someone, both of you need to be in agreement in these areas if you want to enjoy your marriage. You don't have to have needless arguments and misunderstanding and chorus.
Right, okay, so this is interesting. Right? Oh, I was going to say, she has said it all. She has said it all. Yeah, so at 2 points, right? I take those 2 points very, very key, very, very important. But there's something that my husband and I do at the end of every, towards the end of each year, like around October, November. If we don't do it in October, we do it in November. So it's like a retreat. So we'll just take like 2 days, we'll just take about 3 days, right, to plan for the next year. So I know I might be going off point this question, but I just thought I should just mention it. So we'll take out 3 days and we would fast and we'll pray. But there's also something that we now on the last day we then do, maybe because my husband is a strategy person, so where he works is the head of strategy, so he's always strategizing. Exactly. So we'll sit down and then plan for the coming year. So we'll plan in every area. So in terms of our spiritual work, so what are we to do better now to be able to communicate with God individually and as a couple and as a family, right? So you would ask, so how many days are we fasting in the year? How many books are we reading? How many sermons are we watching? What are we doing in these areas? We'll talk about it. In terms of finances, at the end of 2019, how much should we already have in investment, right? Or because he does not believe in savings, just putting money down there. So we'll talk about finances, we'll talk about investment. Then we'll also talk about for the kids as well. So what new things do we do, in addition, since it's a new year, right? So that means we've had plans for the previous year. So what are we adding on? So it might be things as simple as, they're going swimming, let them learn how to swim, or let them go and check up let them go to the dentist, check their teeth, let them learn a new language, let them, so explore basically, and then also, let them have like experiential learning as opposed just, learning in the classroom, all of that. And there was something that Ife told me one time, which they both do, which is amazing. Maybe he will talk about it. And I think they homeschool their child for like on a certain day. I didn't even know that was even an option. Like we've paid the school fees. You must go to school Monday to Friday. In fact, you can go on Saturday and Sunday. So we extract because every penny. Actually, schooling these days is not easy. More than Covenant University says. Yeah, I can say that again. So we plan for everything, right? Everything to the very minute, date nights, how can we improve our relation? Because if you live with my husband, he can stay in the house from January 1 to December 31st. If he's not going to work, he's not going to church. I'm the enjoyment minister. He gets, I'm the Jai person. And I don't even, like I like going to parties, it's just, let's even just see outside. Let's see the color of the street. Let's know how the town is, whether it's red, whether somebody has painted it blue. We can't be the last to know the color, right? Let's go. So I think now he's And Jesus. And so now he's, now he, so he has to be, now he has to be intentional about it because that's what I love. He doesn't love it. That's not my business. So so we do that. So every to be very mind, even to sex as well. So we also have like sex goals as well. How many times, because you can just decide, I'm busy, I've come back home tired. But if you just, so it's not like you're not going to be robotic, right? But you just have to. But when you know that it's on the table and then you're working towards it, it just makes things easier. But from before we got married, we had agreed that no matter what, right, we pray that we will not have marital challenges to the extent that people from outside will come and interfere, right? So if someone there's some issues that you actually have to open up and speak out, right? So we had said it that as much, no matter how tempting it is, right, we are not going to call anybody to come and interfere. I'm extremely close to my mom. I still spoke to her before coming here. We speak every day. Sometimes it can be an hour, 2 hours. My mother just accepted his fate like that. Yeah, in fact now he's like, mommy, I missed you. We've not spoken because he had to enter that relationship by force. If you know that, So I remember when I was getting married at 22. I remember people were like, oh, is she pregnant? Why is she rushing to marry? How can you leave a party before it starts? Like different things I was hearing, but I told God, I said, God, this marriage, right, it is me, my husband, and you at the center of it. I do not want anything I'm supposed to have known, you will be the one to teach me, right? And I'll do things right and do things your way. So, and I said, no one. So for 8 years, or almost 8 years, there's 7 years and minus, between now and August, it will be complete the 8 years, right? I have never, as close as my mom and as close as I am to my mom, I have never said, oh, my husband did this. And then he too, he has not. And at the time that sometimes he used to threaten me, I'll report it to your mom. This thing that you're doing, I'll report it to your mom. Because at the time I told him that anytime my mom misbehaves, not anytime, like there's sometimes my mom will do something, and then my dad cannot really handle it, he would call her mom, right? I think it's better for him to call my mom, right, than to tell his own mom, right? So, but we thank God that it hasn't happened and it's not happening. Amen. So I think that's what I can say for now. But this morning when I was having my bath, right, that scripture dropped. I didn't know. I was like, okay, I'm not the one that was going to say it, right? And I'm not preaching. I'm not, but that just dropped in my spirit that we have to be in agreement. And even before you meet the person, right, you can already start writing down the things that you would have to agree about. I think as simple as some people want 6 children. I don't understand. I don't want to. The thing I want to say, I don't want to say, but like you're going to use them for bank loan or something. Like, why am I having? I eventually said it. Why are we having 6 children? I don't get. Like she said, if you not go to community university, you go to abroad. It's like Harvard. So, but again, right? You can have 10 children, and all of them can all go to Harvard, right? And all have the best life. But my own is, I don't know if I have the patience for 6 children, right? So those are the things that you would agree on, like 2, 3. So like she said as well, like before you get married, right, everything is all lovey-dovey. When you enter, it's like there is another person that is inside. So if you're not agreed from the onset, then even when you agree, so there's problem, right? Let's talk about when you do not agree. So yeah.
Okay, so Wale, I want you to go now. Then Chidi will go last. So
Refresh my memory.
So what areas do you believe that people that are courting need to be in agreement in before they get married? So the question is, people are courting. What areas do you need to know that you and this person are on the same page for you to proceed to marriage? Or so that if you're not in agreement, it's wise for you to just end the relationship where it is, so that you don't enter into marriage and start having needless quarrels and misunderstandings that could have been avoided if you had chosen somebody that values those same things.
Okay. There has to be an agreement about the spiritual authority that.
Oh, not just being Christians now.
I'm not. It's different from what because sometimes you can be in a church, but you have like spiritual friends, but they have authority over you as a
Okay.
single guy. But the lady must also have that. She must also agree to that too. Or okay, let's put it this way. Let me flip it with an example. So there was this pastor friend of mine that was um, counseling a lady, and then the lady was like, "Oh, okay, there's this guy and all of that, and I want you to meet him." Okay, so the guy came over, and then immediately, this is the first time he was meeting the guy. Immediately he said, maybe the girl's name is Morenike. No, sorry. Shia, if there's anything you're gonna tell me that you're not gonna say, that you don't want him to know, don't bring it to me. And then he said the reason why he did that was he wanted to give the guy the authority over his own home. And then Shia came back telling him that every time I say I want to talk to my pastor or go see my pastor, he allows me to. In a sense, the main pastor now made him more secure. Like, I'm not fighting, I don't have an authority over your wife in your house, but I would be open to have that mentorship with you guys. So, well, not everybody has that kind of wisdom, you know. So some ladies may say it in like before the guy or with their man, like, oh, okay, no, my pastor said this, my pastor said that. But your man actually has the authority in the house, and with this kind of case I just narrated, that's how he can feel secure. Like, I don't know you, but I feel safe with having this spiritual authority over you and over me. So there must be that agreement in that area. And then secondly, friends. Like, for example, I prayed one time and then I picked somebody in my spirit, like about a friend of my wife. And I was trying to look for a way to tell her that I think, you know, God is, you know, don't get too close to this person and all of that. But somehow, you know, if God, you know, there's a way you can get stuff from the Holy Spirit and then you want to sugarcoat it. But when I got it, I felt like God wanted to protect her, so I just brought it out. And then I told her, I said, okay, you need to be careful about this person, blah, blah, blah. And then somehow she just said, okay, you know what, it's fine. I think that kind of thing can actually blow open a household or a marriage or a relationship. Like, what do you mean? Oh, you don't want me to talk to my friend, blah, 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 and all of that. But that in that area must actually be looked into. For instance, if she doesn't agree with what I said at that moment, there's a way she can, oh, okay, and then bring it back up again and say, okay, what exactly do you think I need to change or she needs to change? And it may just be that, and the guy just opens up and says, okay, this particular person, blah, 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 and it can be sorted. Yeah, so there must be that agreement, the kind of people that come close to you. Yeah, I think for that.
Okay. So, Uncle Chidi. I call him Uncle Chidi.
Okay, yeah. For me, I think the first on the list will be agreement of values, right? Because I remember when we were cutting, then I told her that I'm interested, I want to get married to her. So the first question she asked was, what are my values, right? What are the things I'm really passionate about? You know, and I was able to, I can't even remember what I said, but I said some things.
No, I don't mean like physically. I mean like, you know, just bearing it out. And then for money can be very. I know you mentioned that already. One of the things that my husband did was he was hearing all these counsels. Money, you know, it can cause fights. Mainly, you got married like this. You went to get 2 ATM cards, right, for his own account, and then he gave me one. And then he took one. Just that I don't know where the card is. I don't even if he purposely gave it to me. Oh yes, withdrawn it. But yeah, so you know, I passwords here and there. You know, just being open, basically. However you want to interpret it, just being open.
Okay. I think even though I'm the one that's not married here, I think one way to balance this is this, because as I was writing, I think David mentioned it, being led by the Spirit of God. Because I know there are single people who will hear being open and they'll think of their parents. and they will think of their friends that were open and the husband took them for granted, that were open and they this. I'm sure of that. But the thing is, even when I talk to single people, I tell them, see, God will never lead you into a ditch. He can't do it. One of the best things you can do as a single person is to cultivate your relationship with God to the point where you can discern what He's leading you to do. You're not going to know everything about somebody before you marry them. You can, yes, even when you marry them, and you don't even know yourself completely. There are certain things that you do, there is people looking at me that tell me if you do this thing, or they stay around me that tell me, I don't even realize that I do those things. But what helps is when you cultivate your relationship with God to be able to discern when He's leading you, and He's leading you, you just know, you enter with faith and you walk by faith. Because when you were saying discuss about traveling, there are people who got married, they didn't know they were going to be pastors. They didn't know. The man, he wasn't meaning to deceive her, but he didn't know. I'm not talking about somebody that knew he was called that was dodging, but this one didn't know, and he got married. But the truth of the matter is that if they were being led and the lady chooses to yield to the Spirit of God, they'll be fine. It's not if she decides that she's getting a witness, because we do it sometimes. You're getting a witness in your spirit to do something and you're like, God, but I want to do this. It will spoil my swag. But as long as you're being led by the Spirit of God, you'll be fine. So it just starts from being able to discern what God is saying when you're moving in, and then what you guys said is the same thing that people have said in the previous editions we've done. The values are important, even as far as will we flog our children or not? Will we? Yes. I think you'll be shocked. What you said is really important. Knowing what your values are, even before someone comes, you already sit down and say, Tope, what are the things you really value? Like, what are the things that make you upset? What can you not take? Like, you sit there and tell yourself, blessing, what are the things you cannot take? You look at it and you wait. So when somebody's coming and like you ask your husband, the moment you were clear what your values were, if he had told you things and your values were not rhyming, you may not say it's right there, but you will find your cube roots. Because you already know enough to know that values are important. So one book that really helps, that I've read, that really helps to help you to be clear, is what... Things I wish I'd known before we got married. It's by Gary Chapman. So if you're single, please get that book, read it. It's very eye-opening and there are questions inside. Even Boy Meets Girl by Joshua Harris, there are courtship conversations inside the book. When you have those conversations, because one of the things that happens during courtship is that Pastor People of Blessed Memory used to say courtship is a time for conversation and not intercourse. You're supposed to be talking. You're supposed to be talking, trying to understand each other as much as you can. You can't know everything, but there's some things that I know I'm not part of the panelists, but I'm trying to tie it in a way because I'm the single person. So I'm trying to tie it in for the single people that are here and people that are even watching live or that will watch the video. Tie it in. There are conversations that people don't know to have. I mean, I was talking to a friend of mine who's married, and she was like, "If you're so right that right now a friend of theirs, the husband is based in Port Harcourt, the wife is based in Oyo State or so, and they got married. They never had a conversation about whether or not she was going to move to meet him in Port Harcourt. Now they are married and they're having a problem. And so when they brought the issue to her and her husband, she was like, what were both of you thinking? You never discussed, because the guy is now saying she should come, and she's like, no, I can't leave my job. We did not discuss that. And she's like, what were you people doing if you could not have this simple conversation? Conversations like, where will we worship? Like, some people are going to one church, he's going to another church. You just take it for granted that he's allowing you to go to your church, and you're just assuming when you get married he will follow you or he will let you remain. Ask. Be sure. Be clear. As in, ask. It's very important, so you will know if you want to go forward or you want to just match break and move. So 2 books that I will recommend, because there are several things that we may not even remember to mention. Things that we should know.
You read that. In fact, what kind of person is this? When we started dating, I was like, oh, you have to read these books. So you outline them. Then this one on temperament, right? There's another one on love languages.
5 love languages, guys.
I was just reading. I was like, can you see the exam that I'm going for? I don't understand, but thank God, Sha, because even years after, there's something that I would do unconsciously, and it's because I was exposed to knowledge. So at that time during courtship too, even though we're long distance, right, you give me assignments, read this book and summarize in 300 words. I was like, I've entered.
It's that strategy.
But we thank God that so yes, it helps. Like some things that you would not even have thought about, you would see them. But most importantly, like she said, be guided by the Holy Spirit.
Be guided. Praise God. Okay, so my next question. Which question am I get? So, how much money should a guy have? Money is important. Like so a few like 2 Saturdays ago or so, I walked into a conversation that 2 people were having. One person married, the other person not married, and I saw how they said okay, and then I asked. I was like, she now mentioned that this guy checking her. He's doing so and so job. So I was asking because she's a Christian. So I'm like, what is the Lord saying? Where I am, if I'm talking to a Christian, that's the question I'm going to ask you. I'm not going to ask you first. It's not what he's doing, where he is, how much he has, who his father is. That's not where I'm going to start from. I'll still ask all those questions and ask you what you think about. But I'll start with what's the Lord saying? Because if even if the surface is fine, but you have a weakness in your spirit, you should not go. I can't support you to go. That's if I'm talking to a person I perceive to be mature. So I asked her a few questions and she said, he's doing so and so job and I don't want to know what the Lord is saying because I'm not ready to build with anybody. Like she doesn't want, at this stage of her life, she doesn't want to be a builder. Like no offense, but she doesn't want to. Yes.
Isn't that even what God called women to do in the first place?
She doesn't want to be a builder. So my question, I became blood is hot. So my question, no, because that's the thing. Be clear. That's why we say be clear about what your values are. First, we cannot talk about what the Bible says. The Bible doesn't say. But when you are clear first, somebody that wants to counsel you, even know where to come from. When you are not now sure, we will not, except the Spirit of God gives us discernment, we will not even know how to counsel you. So she said, because the guy is doing so, I don't want to say what he does, but because he's doing so and so. Okay. I think he's into entertainment somehow, and then he drives an Uber, as an Uber driver, but so she's like, she doesn't want to know that, she doesn't want to build. So my question is, how much money should a guy have? Like, what should his rep be before he can even open his mouth and tell someone you want to marry her? Or for the lady, what's the safe place that if he's there, like he works with oil company, has a 2-bedroom flat, like he rented it in like Bagada towards the island only. No, what do you think is this? So that because it is important.
Mainland, they'll tell you not just mainland. Like if I don't say I know island, right?
Yes.
Not like island 1, island 2, island 3. Yeah.
Okay, so my question is, how much money? Because you guys have already said money is important. So how much money does a guy need to have before he can consider marriage, or before a wise chap lady can say yes? Okay, so IBK, you're already gingered. Answer. Tell us your mind. Tell us your mind. Yes. So
okay,
tell us.
To be honest, when you sent this question to me, I was a bit angry. Why? Because it's almost like, why is the burden on the man? How much should a man have before he gets married? A man is not marrying himself, he's marrying another individual. So as a woman, if you're not financially responsible for yourself yet, why are you thinking of what another human has just because he likes you? Right? So for me, a man is not a financial plan, he's not an ATM machine, he's not a bank account. Right? God is our source. Seems he's looking on somebody too, right? So for me, any woman, personally for me, that is either not financially stable to take care of herself should not be thinking of joining herself to somebody else first. That's my own. I'm not a man, so I cannot say what a man should have. It's them that know, right? But for a woman, my charge to you is, don't think of that should not be your thoughts. Like what should he have before I consider marrying him? What do you have? What are you bringing to the table? Because that's why they will disrespect you. Because you have nothing to do than sit down and say he's driving Uber. Do you know how much Uber drivers make? Some make up to 400k per month. I've spoken to all of them. Not all of them. I mean, I've spoken to a lot of them, and there are some reputable people that, as in, there's this Uber guy. It was a guy in CU. I will not see him and look at him like disrespect because he's an Uber driver. No, he even has sense that he has an asset and he's using it to make more money. So there is no I mean, if you even come to me and first tell me things like he has, and I look at you, what you have, because that's my first question to you. What do you want? What value are you adding to him? We just want to take. He must be in the oil company. Why are you not in the oil company? He must have 4-bedroom flat. Why don't you have the 4-bedroom flat? He must drive this certain car. You are not driving Corolla yet. You want it to have G-Wags. Like, okay, so when you enter the G-Wags, what will you feel like the wife of somebody that has G-Wags? Not even that you're the owner of the G-Wags. Do you understand? So for me,
by association, please. By oneness.
The thing you have in your see, let's not all deceive ourselves here. To be honest, the only thing you have together is children. If people come together to buy a house, then it's your house. If you buy the house, then the house, this is life. It's a fact, it's a fact of life. See, I don't always say let's forget spirituality because it is the fact of life. But the truth is also, like, God is our God. You have your money, you have your money. He has his car, you're sitting down inside. You have your car, he can sit down inside too. So for me, I think if you think like that, you're not ready for marriage. For me, if you think about what should he have, I don't feel like the way he will respect you. Like, he knows that if you just live his life, the value of his life first come down. Because what you were bringing was not change. It was not liability. Right, so let me see.
Okay, so Wale, I want you to go here. So that's my question. What should a guy have? Because okay, so I also have, I know young men my age, a little older, who don't even want to consider marriage because they feel like their finances is a mess. Like, they may be earning 130 more, but they just feel like that's still not enough, and they are going to 30-something, and they just feel no. Some people earn more. There's even some people that earn more, but if you talk to them, they'll be like, they still don't have that Benz. There's a kind of school I want my children to go to. Like, so I need to have that 3-bedroom house first in Ikeja and my Benz, then I can now marry. You know, they just feel like they must have that first. So
okay, so Proverbs 18:22, he that finds a wife finds a good thing and has obtained favor from the Lord. I've been in those two cases. I've dated broke and I've dated rich, and maybe because of my own person, I go into the relationship with the focus of bringing out the potential in that person. Let me say this: God will lead you to a person. If you're broke, God will lead you to a person that will disrespect you for being broke at that point. And the question is not really should not really focus on the guys alone. There must be a meeting of minds. Like I said, when I remember when I was working in Nigerian bureaus, there was a lot of funds coming into me. Chidi, why did you look at me like? There's a lot of funds coming to me. I think at that period, I was still in that whole phase of, should I settle down? Should I not settle down? Immediately I left Nigerian bureaus, in a sense, I was broke. And it kept me away from actually committing, because I wanted to live the dream, get something done. So this is it. Every guy must have that mentality to have his own thing, to building his dream. And that is also something the God-sent woman would see and also want to be with you, basically. So I really agree with that lady, and she did the right thing. Oh, I can't build with him. She's not the God-sent woman. She's not the God-sent. If it is the God-sent woman, like I said, he that finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. I know people that have gotten married, and right up from marriage. I think he told me even stories about. I think he told me a story yesterday. Right up from the wedding day, the life of the guy just started going up. So imagine missing that opportunity of a great guy, great potential, great vision, and then you can never really have any input in that person's life. So there's this, the God factor is really important. God will lead you to where there is grace, yeah, to where there is love. Let me put it that way. Yeah.
Okay, so Chidi, money.
How much money will the guy?
Yes, should he have, like, before you should even be thinking of getting married? Or the sister, what should she look out for in terms of Okwego?
Okay.
Money.
That is really relative, because you can't say that there is a fixed amount one should have. But at least before you start thinking of getting married, you should be able to have your own house. I was listening to a video by Mas Mama. Because the Bible said the man should leave the father's house.
Okay, so staying in mom's. What if your dad has a mansion, like so, and then you're the only child? You won't.
But then, at least you have somewhere. It's not the room that you were staying when you were a boy. Have an accommodation.
You don't mean that you first have to own a house.
Can I know some guys that will say, I have to build my house first?
No, that's not what I mean.
Get married.
No. You have to have an accommodation. I can rent an accommodation, or you own your house or whatever. You should leave your father's house or leave your room when you were still in university. Then you should be able to cater for your wife. You should be able to provide at least meal, food, provide for her needs. At least that should be basic. But ladies in that sense should not be expecting, like what you said, expecting someone that is ready made. Successful people are already successful when they were staying in one room. So it's just the mindset and the potential.
Successful people were successful when they were staying in one room.
Yes, it just like it has not manifested yet. But the mindsets. The question should be, how much sense should a guy have?
Since I was working, I said, Ifoma, how much do you have? This person is even doing better than you. Do you realize that to compare both of he's even doing better than you? How much do you have? How much is exactly what are you bringing to the table that you're allowing something enter your head to say this person doesn't have? So the relationship didn't work out, but it wasn't because of that. Because that just resetted my brain that okay, no, this is not the way to think. Because how much do you have? Because what do you treat your own money? What are you doing? Are you just crossing your legs somewhere and waiting? If the person should have you, what do you have? I know how many women that have, because of their own financial prowess of doing the things they needed to do, they were able to take care of their children, sort out a lot of things. If the woman was just crossing her leg, looking at the sky, there would have been a big problem. So it's really worth mentioning, because a lot of ladies have to better Nigeria, one better Nigeria wedding. Hey God, the God that did it for this person, God do my own too now. It's looking like he can't give you better Nigeria wedding. And you're like, no, I don't think. Also, you want to say something?
I just wanted to ask. Sorry, is it allowed?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Sorry, I'm laughing, because I think many times we put it so much to the guy, but there are a lot of ladies actually who've taken up the burden of catering either for their relationship or marriage because they have, and they believe and they want to build with the man. But the man on the other end is, I don't know, is highly irresponsible, just feeds off the lady, and feels it's his right. When you marry somebody, you own the person. I'm just saying the mindset people have. And then he feeds off the woman, and he's so comfortable. It's a different thing if you're going through a phase of your life where you don't have. And then you migrate to a point where, okay, I now have, I can do the things, I'm supposed to do. But when a guy is not even thinking, he doesn't have a vision as regards the financial vision for his family. Like, okay, actually he said something, provide, take care. But there are seasons of one's life. Yeah? So there's a point where you don't have. But I'm talking about guys who are in a state of, I call them state of emergency. They need help because they are comfortable in not having, so they're actually looking for people to feed off. So you find people who are doing so. That's why, to be honest, some ladies, when I heard ladies saying, I don't want to build, sure. When ladies say I don't want to build, it may be coming from a place of either pain or an experience she heard from somebody. So it may not be entirely the fact that she's a bad person.
No, what I'm saying.
Mine was that she's clear about where she is, and I just thought I should ask the question because people are different.
Can I give you testimony? Real and personal.
Okay.
So I'm into industrial cleaning. Yeah, and good, growing, and the wedding was coming. Our wedding was coming. She's the only child. As my wife is the only child, and child to pastors. And they were bringing these people were coming telling me, okay, you know what, don't do a big wedding, blah blah. In my mind I'm like, yeah, like don't do a big wedding, let's not spend too much money. But she's like, you know, I may want to do that too, but look at where I am, look at the position I am in our house, right? And I think my parents really want to celebrate me and all that. So I took the matter to God. I'm like, God, to do this kind of wedding now will look like 5M, 6M. Now I have this school of thought, just do what you need to do with what you have. But this is like a one-time occasion, okay, let's celebrate God in the life of, you know. And so I bought into it like, okay, God, if you are in this really, let me start seeing the blessing coming. Now, at that point, I didn't really have that whole millions.
Yes.
But I took that serious, like, God, she's going to be happy, blah, blah, faith. And then everything started playing out. Somebody paid for her. You guys need to understand this part, especially some of us that are still not yet in the hundreds of millions.
Yeah.
Your faith must really be in the hundreds of millions. Because all that stuff built even my wife's confidence, like, yeah, this is the guy. Like, I mean, God is showing up, really, and it was a huge wedding. It was so huge. I'm saying this is the glory of God. Everybody, at the end, they were leaving, and I was like, Jesus, this is my wedding. I started crying. God proved to me, like, serve me and I'll reward you. So it's possible you actually meet a ready-made guy and don't have any of these experiences. But if you do meet a guy that is in the process, God will not fail you. But ensure that you were actually sent to him. Be very sure. Be very sure. Yep.
And sorry, I was just trying to go somewhere to get. He may not have it, because I think the question is how much should he have. Money is not just always assessed by what he has in his bank account. I know he was saying something about sense, you know, wisdom, his faith, his belief in God. There's something my husband has, his faith in God. You may not see it physically, but we just know that if we agree, we can call it to be, and it will actually happen. And it's been proven over time. So that has built up my faith as well. You know, that I know that, man, it's not by what I see. If we agree and pray it to be, it will happen. So I don't just think guys should. Yes, I know guys are also scared. It's a two-way thing.
Yes.
Guys are scared. Okay, I need to save billions of naira because some women are high class. You know, to do your makeup now every Saturday is like 50K, you know, and all of those things. But I think most importantly, a guy should be a visionary, and he should be able to communicate that vision to his wife. So he may not have it physically, but the wife should have some confidence, and vice versa.
Yes.
Because I'm also not of the school of thought that women should fold her hands. A wise woman builds her home,
Yes.
not just building her home with her words, but financially and otherwise. You know, so I believe so much that if he can communicate that to her, you know, the woman should look beyond what he has physically and go with what she's seeing and what God is opening her eyes to see.
Thank you
so much. Okay, so Monica, you know, they said it all, right? So I'll just add. So because my mom and I are pastors in Redeem, and my parents are pastors in Redeem as well. The recommended thing to do is at least the man must have a decent job. So something that brings in money every month. Can be 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, as long as it's regular. So when you come, you know, and you say you want to get married, so the counselors will ask you,
what is the guy doing. So it's not like they'll impose that the guy has to have it, but it's recommended, right? And then me, I scammed my husband. I will tell you why. I scammed him. So when we were dating, he was like, before we get married, right? Both of us, we have to have jobs. So this is where agreement as well. Some men might say, no, my husband told me that you will work, you will do business, everything you must do. I can't marry somebody that you will just sit down at home. So we already had that discussion, right? Well, me, I never thought I would do business, but when I told him, oh, don't worry, because I finished my masters, and then I finished my masters a month after we got married, right? So I already promised him that I have one uncle somewhere that I'm finishing like this. I have a job, right? I was like, okay, no problem, fine. He was already working with KPMG, so even the salary was just decent enough to carry us through, right? But the agreement from the beginning was both of us, we need to have a job. So when we got married, month one, my was like, excuse me, where's your uncle? What happened? What's happening here? Month two, this sister is coming. So he says he wants to never, but you know. But thankfully, like before, I wasn't even, you know, looking for a job proactively. So I just said, you know what? So we got married in August. I went back to school September. I came back ending of September, October, November, December. It was November that, you know, I then got called for an interview. December because of Christmas. Thankfully, January I started working, right? So it wasn't like, oh, both of us had like so much millions in our bank account, but we agreed, you know, and we said at least, you know, we both have a decent. So again, I think it has to do with agreement and, you know, not so much money. And then, like, some people are ambitious, and I cannot be upset that you're ambitious, right? I don't want to do. I just want to enter into Ferrari, into Banana Island mansion. It's my vision. Please don't. It's my vision. If you want to build, me, I've just chosen. That's my own. That let's build together. I can decide, and I'm entitled to my own vision. It's your vision. It's not your own vision. Do you understand? So yes, everyone is entitled to whatever. And again, it's, like he said, it's relative. So I'll just take to, but ideally, like what Redeem Christian God recommends, and because they've been in existence for so many years and they are saying a lot of things, so just not even like Holy Spirit said it's just wisdom. They have, you know, a decent job, so that's all that they require.
Okay. What I can say to tie it all up is, you know, it's when you're single and you grow. Not just in your career, but in wisdom and in knowledge and your relationship with God, you are discerning. So even for the ladies who make a lot of money, but they are with somebody as a leech, the Lord is not going to order your steps to a leech. It's not going to happen. Most people that are with a leech, they already see that he's a leech, but there's pressure from somewhere that say, I have this one, let me hold him and keep him. They know. Many of them know, but they just feel like they don't want to be alone anymore. At least this one is even meeting whatever need it is that he's meeting, so they feel it's fine. Because even if, and in my book, I mean, I've even finished writing the whole book at a point, and I just had a conversation with a friend of mine, and I went back to chapter 4 and I added some things. And one of the things I added was some of the people that I admire. Let's take Bishop David Oyedepo and Pastor Faith Oyedepo. Have you seen their wedding picture? I've seen their wedding picture. She married by faith. The private jet was not showing. I can assure you, it wasn't showing. When you see that picture, she married by faith. And I can tell, I believe that there are people, of course, at that time, people were wealthier than Bishop that time, that probably were coming around her. She didn't marry based on the thing you're seeing. Pastor Nike and Pastor Samadeyemi, I believe I've heard their story before, that Pastor Nike was earning more. The earliest when they were caught, when he had her salary, he was like, but see, you get, so it's what you said too. How much sense does he have? The sense you said, vision. Is he able to communicate that vision? That a successful man. The best story I heard is our dear fella Durotei and Mommy Tara. When he posted that when they got married, he was facing my slap you, and she could not even bathe in the bathroom. She had to be going back to her parents' house after their wedding. If she was looking down on him because he did not have all the things that he has now, she would never have married him. But he had those things we were talking about. He had the vision. I've heard him say it before that those days I'll carry her on my lap and I'll tell her, baby, I'm going to take you around the world. I'm going to spoil it. It wasn't just mouth though. He was also doing things, but he was assuring her. He had a vision and he was communicating it. And she did not marry based on the things that physical eyes can see. So Money is good though. It's important, but remember that he can be working with Mobile today. Next week, Mobile will retrench. If he's lazy, his laziness will show. Another thing will happen. It has happened. People that marry because he's maybe he's managing his uncle's business and he's just siphoning money. Money is flowing. The day the uncle changes it for him, trouble. Okay, so if our values are in place and we're walking with God, you will not enter a ditch. That's what the truth. God loves us. He will not lead you into a ditch. So, but don't look down on somebody, because imagine if somebody looks down on you now because you don't drive a Ferrari. It's the person's loss because your Ferrari is close. Anybody that looks down on you because you don't drive a Benz now, it's the person's loss because it's coming. So it's the same. It works for both men and then women. I trust we're being blessed. Okay, so I'll ask one more question and then I'll let you, or I have lots of questions here, but I'll just ask one, and then if you have any questions, then you can now ask. So my next question is, of course, we have to talk about sex in this. I have to ask, and my next question is, this is how I asked it, but I'm wondering if I should just rephrase it like I did in Abuja, and it was sexual compatibility. How important is sexual compatibility? People used to argue about sexual compatibility. How important is it? And how should a Christian single be worried about it before they are married? Like, is it something that should be a concern that I mean, and this guy is sexually compatible? And then, since we know that scripture does not approve of testing the microphone before the event or after the party, after the event, you're supposed to test the microphone after the event. How do they go about it? So, do you get my question? Like, people talk about sexual compatibility. One, should it be a concern for Christian singles, or they should walk by faith, whatever it is you want to say? Or, but if you say, it should be a concern, so then the next question is, what should they now do? I mean, if it should be a concern, what would be the wise way to navigate it, knowing fully well the Bible doesn't encourage testing the microphone until after the event? I'll start with Okuchidi now. Okuchidi, you're going first. So should sexual compatibility be a concern? So people bring it up all the time, like you hear it here and there. Should it be a concern for single Christians before they get married, or they should walk by faith?
Yeah, but we're talking about Christian marriage, which we all know that is not. You shouldn't test the microphone, But you're cutting, so you have an insight of the kind of life the person has lived before.
Okay.
You want to know how the person has, to that level, to that point where you met the person. You want to know what the person has been doing before.
Sexually.
Yes, you want to know. Then you really need to trust God, because you really need to pray about it and hope and pray.
He said hope and pray. Hope and pray.
That's everything.
Okay, so IBK, Polly, sexual compatibility, should it be a concern? Yes or no? If it should be a concern, how should the Christian single, as in, find out if you're sexually compatible with the person?
Okay, I think the sexual compatibility is a scam, really.
It's a scam.
To be honest, yes. I think God was wise when He did the man part and the woman part, so it's compatible. It's compatible. That's right. I mean, yes. So it's compatible.
Yes.
Now depends on the humans. All right. So, okay. To be honest, because sex is great, right? But it's also very overrated. My opinion.
MBK says that sex is overrated. Do you
very
agree with that?
overrated because. And this is why I believe as a Christian couple, when you were courting, sex wasn't important for your relationship. I'm not saying it's not important in marriage. I'm not saying. I just feel like the way we talk about it, like sex, that God is sex. I personally don't believe so. I believe sex, or great sex, is as a result of great individuals that make a great marriage. So obviously the question is, if you've been strafing around, how many people, all of those things, is it even really necessary? If you need it for your self-conscience, fine. But then what makes sex great is two happy people, two angry people that are just, the sex is not good, to be really honest. It's just bang, like, it's just acts. But for two people that respect each other, that's when you ask question of what should Christian single, what should they do? What should they
to prepare?
See, prepare to be the best husband and you have the best sex. For me, prepare to be the best wife and you have the best sex. You are selfless, so you're not thinking of I want to just get off and go. I like this woman, she's my wife and she likes this sex thing. So whatever, I want to make sure that she is satisfied. And if those two people, if that's their mindset, I mean, I want the best for my husband wants the best for me in that area, there will be great sex. But if two people are fighting, two people disrespect each other, the man is always lording over her, the woman is always nagging, when it comes right to that part, it's not going to make any sense. So I feel like sex is more like an icing on the cake. You cannot eat icing alone, like you can't eat it. No matter you eat it, you will throw up at some point. But the cake is the most important part, which is respect each other, love each other, serve each other. Then it's just the byproduct, great sex.
Amen.
Amen to you, sir.
No, I said the men. So I want to go with the men.
Oh, they like sex. Oh, those ones, they love it. So they have a different answer. Men, they always have a different answer.
But as continue, has this spoken? That's right. Okay, I think communication helps sexual compatibility.
That's before the marriage, in the marriage.
Before and in the marriage.
Before and in the marriage. So what, for the single people, what kind of communication are you going to be having that will not make everything be done on your own?
What illness do you have? I was actually thinking about it in the marriage room.
Yeah, because
brought me back, right? Okay, so okay, when I was courting my wife, we spoke to an extent about it. Okay, what do you think, honeymoon would look like? You have to like create a scenario many times. What would the honeymoon look like? And then she starts to say, oh, okay, I like, the candles here, the this here, the that here. The communication,
and all of that. I know Abike said something about, when God was creating us, man and woman, right? He already put the things that, make us compatible. 1, 2, he already said that do not have sex before you get married. And we all know that, God is the all-wise, all-knowing. Like, he knows why he has said that, right? So why don't we just trust that whoever it is that he has led us to, right, will be sexually compatible with the person. So personally, because my husband and I, we're not sexually active, before we got married, like Pastor Wale said, we talked about it, right? And it's one of the things that I feel like some Christians shy away from. They don't talk about it, 1, and 2, like, what are your expectations, right? You want to be flying my legs in the sky, doing, like my best friend is there, right? I told her at the time that I went to be my husband, and I said, do you want me to be wearing, like, nurse uniforms, all the sexy stuff? But I was like, what happened? I don't understand. Please, just like it as plain and simple. I said, yeah, if you want me to handcuff you, right? So my husband is like, that's how you handcuff, you not find the key. You now be calling Shagun with my carpenter guy. So we laughed about it. And so that's that's communication. Because so when we're going to get married, as I said, as a Christian, I know me, I'm a Christian, I'm God, as in God is my father, everything, but so I'm not now make the people that are in the world to enjoy sex more than me that my father has created. So we're going to have mind-blowing, explosive, sex, and we're going to enjoy each other, because I don't realize that this thing, like, when you're having sex regularly, there's so many, it cures many diseases, like it cures many things. Please wait, because I said wait, sorry, because I said it's overrated does not mean it's not good. It's the best thing that happened to you, right? What I just meant was the importance that it placed for me. So I let me just wrap up, right? So I didn't realize. So when we got married, right, with the times where we're not having it regularly, my husband will just be cranky, different things, you know. And then when we have it regularly, that's when my husband is like on the top of his game, in his career, everything. I'm like, wow, this is a secret, you know, understand? So that you can be bringing more money for us, we shall be doing this thing. Do you understand? So I'm just being sarcastic, right? But it just makes you, you know, and men also, right? You know, as much as I don't want to make it about the men, because as a woman as well, we are to enjoy it, we are to, you know, look forward to it. If I want I have one auntie, and I actually look up to her in that regard, because by the time she went to, you know, not report, but she just went to speak to my parents that, you know, in her own marriage, she's the one that likes it the most, right? The husband is the one that's always running, and it's like she's always like, she wants it every day, like 3 times a day. My father was telling the man that, you have a good problem. You have a great problem, right? So I actually want to have my husband to have a great problem, right? So yeah. So yes, I think basically at the end of the day, right, as Christians that are not yet married, it's just speaking to God about it. I remember one of my mentors, DDK, we were talking one time, and she was saying that even before she got married, she was already, you know, talking about dating, marriage, sex, and she told God, and she said, God, all this speaking engagement that I'm having up and down, telling my people you must do so much, that God, you must compensate me, even me in my marriage, right, that it must be bang, 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 right? So, and like I said, like most people shy away from it, you know, they don't talk about it, especially like Christian sisters, like, sex, holy, we can't go there, but we have to talk about it.
Okay.
Sorry, something came to mind. Okay, so I was counseling someone one day. She was about to make she still made the decision. Nice guy, cool guy, I mean, rich, blah, blah, blah. But she said, I don't think he's going to be good in bed. Obviously, they probably have discussed their past and all of that. And then I told her, you know, maybe just give it some time, because this is like a great guy. Like, even me, I checked around spiritually, probably like policed him up, cool guy. But I'm like, why would she want to like leave this guy? And then somehow I just felt like maybe she needed some healing personally, and different things have happened to her. And then yes, she was under the guise of maybe he will not be able to like satisfy her, but maybe she really needed that healing stuff going on that she has to do before getting into marriage. So why am I saying this? It's very possible that some people actually retreat and they don't go with people because of this particular issue, because they want to personally deal with things in their own life. It's really important to actually do that, yes, but I don't think people should just miss out on the fact that fear of the unknown. I don't know if this guy is going to, like I said, communication would really bridge that gap. And can I say this for the ladies? If in a sense you probably have been exposed, Jesus washed you clean, made you whole, blah, 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 you like this guy, don't be shy to teach him. Like, don't be shy to show him. Don't be shy to tell him.
Show him at what point?
Marriage.
Okay.
But you know, some men, they feel like, okay,
Their wives are.
yeah, why is my wife? Where she been? What she done?
That's their personal problem.
You
to
get
be honest.
so, yeah.
And that's why I said there should be that open communication.
Okay, I think that comes from where a lot of how women are perceived. Why? Because no woman, you know, that are great in bed, we're not thinking, oh, where are you coming from? Like, as a bad thing. But she's great at this thing. And you're thinking, where is she coming from? What she has, like, and I just feel like for women, if this thing is important to me, to be honest, when she was talking about, you know, I'm the one that usually like bursts. Do you understand? So as a woman, I think, especially if you know, as a single person, if you get to a stage, you know that I like this thing. Like, and own it. So if you're talking to a guy that is just dulling you, like, I mean, if you are willing to teach, like, or say, oh, do this here, and talk, like, we've been silenced so much. Like, if we say, oh, I'm not enjoying it, I'm not liking it, say it, put it, when you get there, you just, but I mean, when you eventually switch over to when you're already having the sex, tell him, oh, I like it when you, and don't be ashamed, like it's something that God created. So.
Okay. So me, to tie it all in. Okay, no, because I'm trying to tie it together. Me, as in, because sometimes I think when you guys talk, you enter into the marriage part, and I'm thinking there are a few things that a single person needs to hear to make it more for them to be more useful. So one of the things that I'll say first is what she said. God created sex. The first thing you need to know is what are his guidelines. You know, our phones. Some of us use iPhone, Samsung, Techno. But you want to know how to use your phone. Where do you go? What the manufacturer says. You want to treat your iPhone like you treat your Android phone. There's going to be a problem. You are not going to get the best out of it. So everything that we're hearing from the world, no matter how they make it look, once you have it in mind that God is the manufacturer and these are his guidelines, and I'm going to trust him, it takes away that fear that usually makes people think they have to test before they marry. That's one. Two is, one of the things I've heard from married people that are not saved, and like, when you have sexual relationships outside of marriage, even if it's even with your spouse that you're going to marry, when you now enter the marriage, you have something to compare with, and it usually gets in the way of the oneness that they're trying to build. So usually when you see somebody that is saying, I'm not sure the person is going to be good, because they've tasted, it's now having a place in their heart and mind or decision making that it really shouldn't have. It's important, and you should have those conversations. And if you have good marriage counseling, you will get to that point where they will now start to ask you those questions and encourage you to read the right books if you haven't read it prior. But know that if you're currently involved in having sex, and just know that you are creating this memory that can get in the way of oneness, that will most likely get in the way of oneness in your marriage. In fact, in Port Harcourt, one of our speakers was like, she wishes she could take all her sex back. As in that she just wishes that she could take it all back, so that once her husband is all that she knows, that they're just. And you know, another thing that one author said in Boy Meets Girl, Joshua Harris, he said that when as a Christian you look at it that, okay, I don't know anything and we don't know anything about each other and we enter into the marriage, it means that you can commit more time to improving, to learning. Do you understand? So you're now learning, and you're learning what this one person wants. You're not adding, you're not bringing other people into, yes. Because people enter, when we have sexual relationships outside prior to marriage, that memory doesn't go easily. For those of us that have been involved in sexual experience of whatever kind, you know that memory doesn't, the place is part of our brain that it stimulates. Memory doesn't quickly go. So those are some of the things that God is even trying to keep us from, so that when you marry, you can focus on him, you are telling each other, you did this and it worked, okay, try it again, let's see. And that's fine. Plus, there are very amazing books. I came across this book, The Good Girl's Guide to Great Sex. It's an American book, but I think that book is going to be very useful. It's a Christian book, but it's by all these authors that really, Christian women that talk about sex and help Christian women to really not be shy, so that they can own it and enjoy it because God gave it to them. So I think those are things that I would say that they are good Christian books. There's also The Act of Marriage. Act of Marriage is a good book. Usually a good marriage counselor will advise you to read it at some point, usually closer to your wedding, so that things will not be turning your on to any, but they are good books really. So there's this other one I came across one time. Wow, I've not read, no, some of them I read, yeah, but I haven't even read like Good Guide to Great Sex. I've not read it. I just know that that's the title I'm going to purchase. Act of Marriage, I skipped some parts so that things will not be turning on your own, but I got it at the point. And then what's the other one I want to say? I'll remember that one. But they are good books, Christian books. So if you Google, you can find something. Don't be ashamed or anything. So,
apologies. Okay, so it came to my mind when we were all talking, right? That there's so many things we can say, and so many books you can read. But the real experience, no, you're not going to have the same marriage as me, or as Pastor Wale, or as anyone here. So don't get too overwhelmed with so many information. Like if you've had sex before, you're going to compare. If communication, all those things you will figure it out. So as a Christian single person, just be calm. Don't let your moms or your aunties or all of those people like mess with your head, right? Because for example, my own parents, they didn't say anything, but my mother's sisters, oh god, all of them one by one. One of my aunties came to my room one time and was like, she's moving back to Nigeria and it's this room she wants to stay. So by the time she comes, my father's house. So by the time she comes back, I must not be there. Do you understand? So all those things, no matter how really, I did not sin, right? So even with my I did not sin behavior, sometimes it just comes in like, this sex, it's time to start having it now, like, or you were seeing your friends getting married, right? Don't let all of those things mess with your head, or any of the information we're giving you here. Just take the one that makes sense. Keep it somewhere. When you get to your marriage, you'll figure it out.
So I think at this point I'll take questions. Really, I have my own questions, but so that they say me, believe me, I can keep asking questions. So so we'll just ask a few questions so that who wants to ask? You have a question?
No, it's not like a question. I just have a contribution.
Okay.
What we're talking about. Like I personally I feel sex in marriage is more like a learning process. So there's nothing to like be bothered about. Me, I feel as a Christian, there's nothing like sexual compatibility. Like it's love. If you love him, he loves you. It's like give or take give and take. It's something the two of you will share. The two of you will like learn about your bodies, what you like along the way. So I don't feel like sexual compatibility should be like a thing
to worry about. Yeah. Okay, so any questions, any contributions? Cynthia, you don't have any questions. Any contributions? Bestie, you have a contribution.
I'll get to that. You have to have. Just let the spirit minister that. Then you can please.
Come and talk.
Secret place wives. Ma. It's our domain. Just bless us. Tell us. As you single as an advice for single people, like they don't have any questions.
You have advised them very well and everything. Everything they've said, I agree. honestly. Okay, then you know now.
Okay, shoot your shots. That's one question I've not asked. Shoot your shot. Should Christian ladies shoot their shot or not? Please, shoot. What does it even mean to shoot shots?
I think you ask the guy out, right?
Is that what it means?
Yes, no. You go into
that's what I found out yesterday, that I didn't even it has levels.
Basically, you start to concord. It's like having a target, and then you start to work towards the target. So if I like this brother now, for instance, I may just enter his and say, hi, this post really spoke to me. Just to create like a center, like a something, a connection, and then who knows, you might just go through my page and follow back. And I'm like, he spoke to me, or you might say, Princess, you have sense. But I already know what I do in my mind. So that's basically what it means to shoot your shot at the barest, lowest level. But of course, I say just to be upfront and say, guy, I like you. The Lord said you are my husband. That sort of thing. But I don't think that, in a worldly sense, it's not a big deal. We are trying to build. We're evolving into a world where equality is like a big deal, and we are trying to relieve the men of some responsibilities as well. So, if you like a guy, go for it. But in the sense that you're working with God, and in the sense that you believe the Bible says that he that finds a wife, finds a good thing and obtain favor from God. So it tells you that you, as a woman, you are to be found. Now, in that case, he says it doesn't mean that sometimes. Pardon? Sometimes it doesn't mean that God will not give you revelation or insight into who your husband should be. But it's not everything that God tells you that He meant for you to go and tell somebody else. Apart from even spousal, issues. Even here, as we are here now, God can speak to me about IBK. It doesn't mean that I should. Lately now, everybody is giving word, and I'm always telling Rennie that, I mean, don't give me word. So everybody wants to give me word. I just say, So people, their word is wrong. You know that this one is not from God. God will even be telling you, I'm not saying it. You know. But in that sense, so it doesn't mean that because God has shown you your husband, you then have to go and tell immediately. It may be for a later time or anything like that. But shooting your shot, it says that, well, in spiritual terms, and because we understand that God has ordained the man to be like the head of the womb, and so he's the one who finds a wife, who sees a woman and say, you know what, I want you to come be with me, come partner with me. In that sense, if a woman begins to want to shoot her shot, it's it doesn't really speak faith in God's language. So it means that you are thinking for yourself. You are trying. It's just like if in my job now, and I'm trying to derive means of fashioning out my promotion, trying to be in a certain way so that I can be noticed. Now, all those things are not bad. People do them. God does not necessarily frown about them. But if you know that you trust God, you're working with God, and you know that He settled you maritally, the person that God has called to be your husband may be somebody you're already friends with, who you did not shoot a shot with, but you are friends. Now, you will develop into a romantic relationship. So, I don't really think that shooting your shot I don't think it's bad. But if I look at it spiritually, in the sense that the Bible orders things, I would say that it's a bit, it's a bit forward, and it doesn't speak to faith. I can't say it speaks to fear, because the person may not be old as per desperate for marriage. So I can't say, but in the case where some people are old, so that's where dynamics come in. Depending on your age, your status, your mindset, what came into your mind when you decided to shoot your shot, only you will know for real. But some people are so desperate, their old time is going.
So bride price is brought by the man. But we have some cultures where women pay dowry. We have some. Now, people can say Ruth was a short shooting move, but I personally don't believe so, because it wasn't for marriage. She wanted property. And it's sad that you have to go and check a man just to inherit a property. It's really sad, to be honest. So she went and laid by his feet, all of those things, just so he can marry her for property. Like, so that he can somehow save their family and, So I feel some of this. So when you look at the Bible, Isaac and Rebecca, I don't think there was a way like to marriage. Some people, you had meant to speak to the father. The woman was just giving, like, I like your daughter, take. Then there were some, you work 7 years. I mean, it's surprising to me that who was it? Leah and who's the guy? Rachel. No, the guy. Jacob. They did not tell us whether Rachel liked the guy. We just know Jacob loved her and went to speak to the father. We did not hear from her. Do you understand? So in the Bible, there were arranged marriages. There were ones that so we didn't even really see boy likes girl talk to each other. So are we doing it wrong? If that's it, right? So for me, it seems more culturally appropriate that a man, should go. Because more of the favor we talk about in He That Finds a Man is some sort of approval. So I like this girl, God, do you approve? Right? So those are things we see in the Bible. But then, in a world where we are now, I do personally not think it is anti-faith to like a guy. And, it depends on your chest, if you can receive the rejection. So for me, this thing is cultural and chest. If you can tell him, I like you, and you are ready for the no, you carry the no and be going. Do you understand? Don't blame him if he doesn't, feel. So sometimes when, they're talking about marriage a lot, the guy, he likes her, but like, for example, let me say my own story. So I've known my husband since we were teenagers, right? And then there was even a time in our life where we could have, around 2010, but it didn't really work out. He dated one of my best friends, to be honest. So I also don't believe in that. No, not that I don't believe. It depends on who. So they were really young when they did it, like in secondary school. So that's how I even knew him, my friend's boyfriend. Do you understand? So don't. So wait, please. I'm going somewhere. So I knew him, like we're all in teenage church together. So a group of friends, and then one starts dating the other person, like secondary school love, right? And so when we got older, and I came back from my masters and stuff, and I just saw him one day at the mall, and I'm like, hey, how are you? It's been a long time we had spoken. Remember, we had some sort of thing, but it didn't really work out. So hi, day, blah blah blah. At the time, I was already single for like a year, something. One guy scattered my heart. So I was already like, just like, me, oh my God. You understand? So for him, when we started talking, right? And you know, when we had a thing with someone before, there's a way you start talking. You can all just come. I mean, forget that guy. I am very emotional. Like, and so because I really liked him before. And so we started talking. I just noticed that he would stop talking. Like, why are you not talking, sir? Like, what's the problem? What's the issue? And so I remember my office is just by it. That's why I owe Pastor Paul my marriage. Like, so he said one day I'll see him and I'll just one mad see. Like, you're the reason I'm married today. So there's this experience, right, 2015. And so I was going, I knew, because my office is just walking to the TBS, right? So he's like, so I'm thinking of coming for experience. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going, blah. Then I just entered the experience. I said, where are you? He's on his bed, because he said he did not think that he was like, right? So I'm like, okay, so come for it. So he came. And so that was like, he just did small spark on his eyes side. I think at that time, that's when he knew, like, okay, we can do this. But before that experience time, there was a time we would talk for 2 months, we would not talk. So one day I just said, guy, I'm going to the mall, and you are coming to meet me, like a date. I'm asking you to come and meet me at the mall, right? So I think that my first move was when he saw that, okay, it's not like, I'm just being his friend. Because my first game was on that day, I laughed at every joke. And my his hand is like this. So I was touching his hand, so I knew, I don't want to be, I have male friends. There are plenty, it's enough. I like you like this. And so I made him know that in many ways than just, hi, that I'm interested in this. So I think after those events,
I don't want to waste your time. You just open your mouth and
it should be. So for me, I feel like now this whole thing that you brought, I've probably not thought about it that way, because I don't know, right? So we learn every day, right? But I personally don't think that it is anti-God. I think it's anti-scriptural and anti-cultural and your chest.
Okay, so what I just wanted to add is, in your case, after listening to your story, I think that there's some sort of connection. Like, so there's a spark. The guy may not be sure that he wants to date you. Like, maybe he's not at that point where he wants to ask you out, but he's allowing you to do these things. He's aware, he knows there's that spark. What we are talking about, shooting your shot, somebody you don't know. You look on the internet, you see a fine guy, you're like, husband birthday, and
husband 2 million yards.
And that may not even, it's not wrong, but in the sense, so that there's no confusion, because we have to live here more enlightened than we came. And the idea is this: the ultimate, where we all should strive to get to, is a deep and close relationship with God. So whether your marriage, whether you want to shoot your shot, God can even, who told you that God cannot tell you that? Say hello, say hi, just smile, put your hand up. But the question is, at who's leading? Are you doing all that? So if you like a guy, the first place to go to, because you also don't want to waste your energy. Now this sister, now she's lucky because the guy liked her back. Let's even say that he was blind and his eyes was now open when she made the moves. Like, he liked her, but they gelled immediately. In your case, you may shoot your shot and it may be wrong. You may shoot your shot, not that they will only reject you, they will accept you, but you've just signed your life over to to bondage, to eternal sorrow. And because marriage, it's true. It's true. Oh. Hey, this marriage you are talking about, please don't trivialize it. Don't also make it such this grand thing that you have to aspire to, and which is the beginning and the end of your life. But it's not something that you want to take lightly. It's a decision that is very important. One of the most important decisions of your life. So if you want to shoot your shot, at who's leading? Who are you following? So if you like a guy, the first place to go to is God. I like this guy. What do you think? Now God can say to you, but it may just be in alignment with his plan for you, and you will know in your heart that this person is my husband. There's so many testimonies like that where women knew that this is the person I'm going to marry. Some of them went to their pastor straight away and say, oh, God showed me a revelation of brother Lagbaja. Some people were lucky, the brother was already dating. So the pastor will say, sorry, he has already brought somebody. But at who's leading? Because where we want to strive to is trust in the Lord with all your heart, in all your ways, acknowledging all your ways. Not that when you want to go for a job, in all your ways, when you like a guy, when you're infatuated with a guy, when you even feel as if you like a girl, because in church we don't talk about these things. Some people are women, they like girls, they're attracted to girls. You talk about these things, ask God about your sexuality, ask God about what you're feeling. So God can lead you. He doesn't just want to lead you with the big voice of pray, don't pray, even in the smallest details of all your life. So please, I think that's what we should strive towards, a relationship with God where you can talk to him about these things. And in that shot, trust me, he will lead you. You will shoot it right. You will not.
Maybe steps to shoot. Okay, somebody has a question. Okay.
No, I can't.
Thank you. Okay, audible.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I think before I ask my question, I just want to say I'm really honored to be in our midst. I'm an active stalker of one of the panelists. Praise God.
Hallelujah.
Okay, I want to ask if there is one person, is it possible for you to miss your spouse? I really want to use myself as an example. No, I don't know, no, or whatever. There is this guy that I know, he's spiritual, apart from maybe being a pastor or something. I know he's spiritual, I know he loves the Lord and all. And he came and said, God has said I'm his wife. I don't like him. I don't have any emotional attachment to him or any of that stuff. Okay, I'm like, okay, fine. As much as we're not dating, let's just talk. After all, we've been friends all this while. So we started talking, nothing is coming, but he's still insisting. Like, I've sort of even looked for a way to let's just fight and just stay apart, because he was sort of getting on my nerves and stuff. But is it possible that I'm the one that is not seeing the road, or am I missing?
She's asking now.
Am I missing? Like, is it possible for you to miss the one person? Because some churches actually preach that there is one person God took you out of his rib, and so I just want to know. I also want to know if there is like an age difference. Someone is younger than you, someone is like 20 years older than you.
I found out that Cornelius is younger than Heather.
5 years. 5 years.
Said, what are we talking about? Sir, please answer a question. Is there one spouse that you must to marry? If you don't marry, I've entered one chance.
When you want to be.
The man of God.
Okay, so before my wife, I probably had almost close relationships into marriage. There was one I even gave her a ring, and then she declined after a while. So there's really no one person. Look at my story. I already told you that I had like 1 or 2 or 3 that was almost marriage. And then I'm telling you now that I'm married to my best friend. I'm very happy. I don't know if you understand the logic. So there's really no one person. God has to give you that conviction. God has to lead you. I think that's the basic foundation for,
So she shouldn't be worried that she doesn't have that conviction. So she shouldn't go ahead because somebody says, I'm sure that
Take
you're
it
my
to the
wife.
bank. I'm very happy. Married. The others are maybe not all of them, like maybe 3 of them. Like, they are married happily, but I'm very happy. Alright. Well, I and my wife, we share the same values, vision, passion. So all those things must be made clear before you make a decision. So it's not just, oh, I missed this one and I'm going to get this next one. No. So you still have to do your homework well. You understand?
You know, what I'm even hearing from her, and I want us to be clear, is should she be worried that because this person is insisting that the Lord has told me that you're my wife?
You have to have the conviction.
Okay, don't let anybody bully you with God said.
If it's not coming now, you give it time, it's still not coming. I don't think you should push it.
Why are you praying?
Yes.
God
Prayed
didn't say
about
to you.
it.
Once God, so you have to tell him that God has not spoken. When you got the same God that spoke to him, will come and speak to you as well, right? That's one. And I know of a story, true life story. That wasn't until I think maybe like 25 years after that the pastor that told the couple that I saw that you people are supposed to marry, he now came out and said that it was not God that told him. That he just saw that they were compatible, and then he told the guy, right, and this is your wife, that's what the Lord is saying. Now I want to carry it down. He went to meet the woman and said, the Lord said, you are my wife, right? So I don't know if they had issues or had problems. The story did not, get there. But it was just that the pastor himself, I think he now got to a point where he was uneasy and he had to just come out and say, you know what, you guys, I know you are married now. But when I told you people before that it was God that said, I was just. So even if your pastor says, even if your mother, your father, everybody, you yourself, right, you must have that.
Sorry, can I say something? When she kept saying he's insisting, this thing came to my mind. You need to get someone that is selfless. If at the stage of chiking, he's using God said to bully you, he's going to use God said we should move out of the country without you having your conviction. So if as a man he's already in quotes bullying you with God said, first of all, God said that she's your wife does not mean you go and say God said you are my wife. She is also God's daughter. So if God is not telling her that you might really like her shape and she's really fine and hot and your emotions and the day you were praying it came to you, a voice said that's my daughter that you must. So my dear, don't let anybody scam, bully, because it's true and see it's true because all these Mr. Potentials, they're all scammers, all of them, like they are all I have it in me. If for example, if he says I have the potential and you are not seeing the steps. I remember I put it up on Instagram one time on my friend's comments that all the Christian sisters, some of them potential. So my friend commented in my mind, in her opinion, that I married a Mr. Potential. And I said, no, I married Mr. already fulfilling his potential. If he's using now that he's a pastor, he's already using God said to bully you. You see, this emotion is not by the spirit, it's not spirit upon, it will come from within. So if you've tried, you've looked at him, you've become his friend, and you are not feeling that thing, see, my dear, you will need that feeling sometimes in marriage.
Let's ask her, is there someone else, probably exactly. Someone else you are
that I like or
yes.
something, not exactly.
So there's an almost
no, because
so that we don't because sometimes life is very funny and things play out so in funny ways. What you need to do, this brother that we're talking about, he may not really mean that he's trying to bully you. He may just not lack the emotional intelligence or the wisdom to go about it the right way.
Please, the mic.
What's it called? Selflessness. Some people marry. My husband will tell you that when we first got married, he was in an emotionally abusive relationship with me. And now today, I'm the best wife in the world. In fact, like 2 days ago, he just looked at me and said, I wish we had been together for many, many years. Like, I wish it was you I dated, married, and since that time, he wants to have more time with me. So he thinks that this time we're having together now is too short. Even though we still have many years, he wants to have spent many years with me. And that's the truth. So you also need to calm down, because also God must be trying to teach you something through this. Anything, it may be, you don't have to date him. But you see, sometimes because somebody has said this and you are just not inclined, maybe you are not attracted to him. You too, you may be praying, God may be speaking to you, you may not be hearing. Sure, you know, if you are not attracted to this brother. So there are many ways to this thing. But only you can be true to yourself. Follow God and give it time. Don't date the brother, and it doesn't mean that you cannot be friends. Even he may fall out of love with you. He may get over you. You'll be surprised. Somebody that is saying God said, if you don't really be, he will get over you when you see somebody who is ready, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine with being friends with you. So don't that irritation. I know that irritation, but guess what? Whatever we are going through, whatever anybody is doing to us, the higher call is always for us to be better through it, for us to always do better. So this guy is irritating you. Gently tell him, don't ask me about this again. Let me get my conviction. You to pass the information to him in a way that he will hear it clearly. Be assertive. Maybe you too, you have not assert yourself enough. That's why I still coming to God said, God said. Because for me, I'm looking at you like somebody is disturbing you, God said, and they are still disturbing you. What kind of person are you that they can disturb you? You know some people, they can't disturb them. I became like this now. Imagine that somebody is saying her, God said, God said. Do you understand? And the person is still there, God said, God said. Well, how is the person going to bully her? So before we are saying they are bullying you, are you the person that they can bully? So look to yourself too. What can you learn? How can you be more assertive with that person without necessarily shutting him down? Because God may be saying, and because you are not attracted, if this brother is still struggling, potential that has not really found patterns, that has not really even understood himself, and then he has some funny ways. Because a friend of mine, that one guy, that's how one guy said, God said to her. Now this guy will come to, the reason is not because God could not have said, but she didn't like this guy because he would come to her house, he would wash plates, he would, and in her own opinion, how can a man come to visit me and he will be washing plates? Is it humility or what? So she was always so angry, so frustrated, so irritated by the guy. Now the guy is doing well now. It's obvious he has learned he doesn't wash plates anymore. So after he got over the, God said they were friends and he will come, he will not wash plates, he will not do. So when they saw again, he had now changed and he was somebody she could like, but of course he had gotten over her. So God was no longer saying anything. He was now dating somebody. I think he's even married now and she is single. But that's not why she's single. But I'm saying that at the time, if it was not for that serious irritation, maybe, just maybe.
Behind me, so I believe that